Welcome, gentlemen. The real thing never begs for attention, it naturally demands it. That's why women find themselves drawn to Sigma males even when they have countless options. Sigma males don't chase validation. They don't bend their personality just to be accepted. And that quiet refusal to compromise is exactly what makes them impossible to ignore. Tell me this. Have you ever noticed how people seem more interested in you when you stop trying to impress them? Drop a yes in the comments if you've experienced it. You'll relate to what's coming. In a world overflowing with noise, fake bravado, and constant competition, the Sigma male moves like he's operating on a different wavelength. He's not performing. He's not putting on a show. He simply is. His silence, his time, his presence, they all carry weight. Every action feels deliberate, and women notice without even realizing why. And here's the part that hooks them. They can't quite explain why they're drawn in, which makes them think about him even more. Here's the secret. It's not about his looks, his status, or some flashy charm. It's about how he makes others feel. Around him, women feel seen, not judged. Safe, but never smothered. They're pulled in not by the words he speaks, but by the ones he never has to say. The Sigma male has no need to prove a thing. And paradoxically, that proves everything. Stay with me, because in a moment we'll break down exactly how this quiet presence creates gravity most men could only dream of. If you're already a Sigma or becoming one, remember this. What sets you apart isn't a weakness. It's your edge. The world may misunderstand you, but the right people will feel your presence. You're not here to outshout anyone. You're here to stand firm in who you are. The women with depth, the ones who truly get it, will always choose substance over showmanship. And when you see that happen, you'll realize why you never needed to compete with the noise in the first place. So stay grounded. Let your actions speak louder than any speech you could give. Let's get into it. Number 1. He never needs to prove he's a man. His life does the talking. That's a level of energy you can't fake. You won't catch him going around yelling, "I'm a real man," or flexing for the crowd. His strength isn't about looking tough. It's about being tough when life calls for it. His confidence doesn't come from making noise or dominating a room. It comes from handling business quietly, even when no one's around to clap for him. A Sigma male walks with calm certainty. He doesn't broadcast his every win on social media or beg for applause to feel worthy. You'll see it in how he treats others, how he honors his word, how he stays steady when things get hard. When life gets messy, he doesn't run, he handles it. When he's hurt, he processes it rather than exploding or blaming. He faces the problem, learns the lesson, and keeps moving forward. Women notice that kind of quiet stability. They might not be able to explain why, but they can feel it. It's in the way he protects his peace without fanfare, how he listens more than he talks, how he doesn't promise, he just shows up. Think of the man who never says, "Trust me," but earns trust anyway. That's the man who stands out. Not because he's trying to, but because his life speaks louder than words. He's not chasing image. He's living reality. And when you live like that, you don't have to convince anyone of your worth. They'll recognize it without you saying a thing. That's real strength. That's what makes him unforgettable. Number 2. He's not looking for someone to fix. He's looking for someone who gets it. And that one difference sets him apart from almost every other guy. In a world where emotional chaos gets mistaken for passion, the Sigma male sees through the noise. He's not attracted to constant drama or unpredictability. That might impress others, but not him. He's lived enough life to know that chaos isn't romance. It's just exhaustion with a nice disguise. The Sigma male doesn't want to play the hero in someone else's broken narrative. He's not looking for a damsel in distress to validate his masculinity. Why? Because he's already saved himself. He's faced his own demons, healed from his own wounds, and built his own foundation from the ground up. And now that he's done the work, he refuses to go back to emotional quicksand just to feel needed. He wants someone real, someone who can call themselves out when necessary, Not perfect, but growing. A woman who's done some work of her own, who's outgrown the games and is ready to build something solid together. That type of connection is different. It's not loud, but it's powerful. It's not flashy, but it's deep. Picture a woman who can sit with her own silence, who doesn't need constant reassurance, who's been through storms and came out wiser. That's the kind of woman who captures a Sigma's attention. Not because she needs him, but because she understands him. A Sigma male wants partnership, not projects. Peace, not chaos. He's not trying to rescue anyone. He's ready to meet someone who's already done her inner work and is ready to grow together. Number 3. He's fully present but never clingy. And this right here is what throws so many people off. When a Sigma male is with you, he's with you. No distracted scrolling, no half-hearted replies, no fake attention. He makes you feel like you're the only person in the room, like that moment is the only thing that matters. That level of presence is rare and it's magnetic. It's the kind of energy that pulls you in without him even trying. But here's the twist. He never holds on too tightly. You won't catch him begging for more time or chasing something that already feels off. If the energy shifts and the connection starts to feel fake, forced, or draining, he doesn't argue, doesn't over-explain. He just lets it go. No drama, no fireworks, no speeches. Just a quiet exit that leaves a lasting impression. This balance is what leaves people stunned in the best way. He has a way of making you feel seen like almost no one else can. With him, there's no pressure to perform, no fear of being judged. He gives you the space to be completely yourself. And because of that, you want to be around him even more. But here's the thing, you know you can't take him for granted. You can't feed him crumbs and expect him to stay. Picture sitting across from someone who isn't distracted by ego, who doesn't rush to respond, who truly hears what you're saying. That kind of presence is unforgettable. But now imagine that same man standing up, leaving and never looking back. Not in anger, not out of bitterness, but simply because he feels disrespected. That moment hits hard. A Sigma male doesn't stay out of fear of being alone. He stays if it feels real. When it doesn't, he walks away with quiet dignity. That's not coldness, that's self-respect. And ironically, it's this ability to be fully present without being clingy that makes him magnetic. People find themselves thinking, who is this man? How do I get back into his world? Number 4. His ambition isn't loud, it's lethal. You won't hear him bragging about what he's going to do or making a spectacle out of every step he takes. He's not flooding social media with empty promises. While others are shouting about their plans, the Sigma male is already deep into the work. Quiet, relentless, and precise. That's what makes his ambition so powerful. It's not for show. It's not about clout. It's about building something real. One day, it seems like he's just in the background, minding his business. The next, he's built something undeniable, something that makes people stop and take notice. Whether it's his career, his craft, his body, or his entire mindset, everything he creates carries weight. Because it wasn't rushed. It wasn't a performance. It was earned. Women feel that energy instantly. There's a huge difference between a man who only talks about his dreams and a man who's silently turning them into reality. He's not out here trying to convince anyone he's valuable. His life already proves it. It's not about showing off status. It's about substance, and Sigma males bring that in full. Think about it. While some guys are still talking about who they'll be someday, the Sigma is already becoming that man behind the scenes. He's not interested in hype. He's interested in building something that lasts. And when women see that, it changes everything. They're not falling for charm that fades under pressure. They're witnessing power, earned power, the kind forged in silence and revealed in the right moment. He doesn't seek applause. He seeks mastery. And that level of focus doesn't just attract women, it humbles them. Because when you meet a man already doing the work, you realize he's not potential. He's already progress. Number 5. He breaks expectations without trying to. That's the quiet brilliance of a Sigma male. He's not trying to shock the world or stand out just for attention. He doesn't rebel just to get a reaction. He simply follows his own compass. And that, on its own, throws people off in the most fascinating way. Most people run on autopilot. They follow scripts. They say what's expected. They do what's familiar. But when a woman meets a man who refuses to play by that script, her mind almost doesn't know how to process it. He's polite, but not fake. Confident, but doesn't hog the spotlight. He doesn't play hard to get. He is hard to get because he's actually selective. Take dating, for example. While everyone else is rushing to impress, he asks real questions and actually listens. He doesn't fake interest, doesn't pretend to be busy to seem mysterious. If he's interested, he makes it known. If he's not, he moves on without wasting anyone's time. That kind of raw honesty is rare, and women feel it. It breaks the usual rhythm of games and guessing. What makes him even harder to predict is that he's not trying to win anyone over. He's not competing, not putting on a mask. He's just being. And that authenticity is like a curveball in a world full of fake personas. This isn't just about being different. It's about being free from the pressure to fit anyone's expectations. And that freedom, that's magnetic. It makes women lean in closer, not because he's confusing, but because he's clear in a way most people aren't. He's not a puzzle. He's simply a man who refuses to be predictable. And that is why he's unforgettable. Number 6, he doesn't compete for her time, and somehow that makes her give it. A Sigma male never puts himself in the position of just being another option in a lineup. He's not auditioning for attention. While other guys bend over backwards to get noticed, he stays calm, collected, grounded, and that stillness is what makes him stand out. It's not arrogance, it's clarity. He knows what he offers. He's not going to beg for recognition. If she sees it, perfect. If she doesn't, he'll keep moving forward. That rare detachment is felt instantly. It's not indifference. It's self-respect. Picture a woman who's used to men fighting over her attention, blowing up her phone, competing to win her over. Then she meets a Sigma male who refuses to chase, refuses to play. That difference doesn't just confuse her. It intrigues her. Then she meets a man who doesn't chase, doesn't beg, and refuses to play into the usual game. He's polite, even warm, but everything about his presence quietly says, "I'm not here to compete." And that shakes her in the best way possible. She starts wondering, why isn't he trying like everyone else? Why doesn't he seem fazed by me? That curiosity quickly turns into intrigue, because deep down, everyone respects someone who values themselves enough not to beg for attention. A Sigma male never treats connection like a competition. If it clicks, he's there. If it doesn't, he won't force it. That's why women lean in closer. They feel his lack of desperation. They sense that he's intentional, not impulsive. He's not trying to win her over. He's deciding if she's even worth his time. And that changes everything. Because when you don't fight for someone's attention, but they find themselves giving it to you anyway, that's power. And that is exactly what a Sigma male embodies. He doesn't go chasing value. He is the value. Number 7, he listens to understand, not just to reply. That might sound simple, but in today's world, it's rare, almost revolutionary. Most people aren't really listening. They're waiting for their turn to jump in, to defend, to debate, or to one-up your story. But the Sigma male? He's different. He listens with full intention. He's not just hearing the words, he's picking up on the tone, the spaces between sentences, the energy behind what's being said, and even what's not being said. When you speak to him, it feels different. There's no rush, no interrupting, no trying to top you with a clever comeback. He's giving you room to say exactly what you mean, without judgment, without filters. He's not just sitting there planning what he's going to say next. He's right there, fully present, taking it all in. And that kind of presence is rare. Women notice it instantly. They're used to being half heard, to having their words talked over or minimized. But when they speak to a Sigma male, they feel truly heard. That level of listening creates a connection most people don't even realize they've been craving. And here's the best part, because he listens so deeply, when he finally does speak, his words land with weight. They're thoughtful, deliberate, and often cut right to the heart of the matter. Sometimes he reflects something back that even the speaker hadn't fully admitted to themselves, and that hits different. This ability to understand on a deeper level makes his presence feel rare and magnetic. He's not just in the room, he's tuned in, not to manipulate, not to impress, but to actually understand. And that quiet understanding builds something powerful: trust, respect, and in many cases, attraction. In a noisy world, the Sigma male's quiet focus is unforgettable. Number 8. He doesn't perform masculinity. He embodies it. That right there is what sets him apart. While so many men are busy acting tough, the Sigma male simply is. There's no need for him to call himself alpha. No need to flex his power with loud words or dominance theater. He doesn't need to prove anything because his presence does all the proving for him. Here's the thing about the Sigma male. He doesn't care about fitting into society's checklist of masculine. He's not obsessed with being louder, flashier, or richer than the next guy. He doesn't need to throw around money or status to feel like a man. His masculinity is quiet but unshakable. You feel it in the way he walks with purpose, in how he keeps his cool when chaos hits, in how he chooses not to react when others are losing control. Picture a man who stays in the background while everyone else is scrambling for attention. Posting selfies, flashing status symbols, doing everything they can to be seen. He's not performing for likes or clout. He's building something real. The way he handles problems, the way he remains grounded, the way he refuses to crumble when life tests him. That's where his power shows. It's controlled. It's solid. It's not for show. Women know the difference. They can feel the difference between someone pretending to be strong and someone who actually is. They know when confidence is rehearsed and when it's real. That's why Sigma males stand out effortlessly. They don't talk about leadership. They live it. They don't demand respect. They earn it silently, consistently, day after day. No performance. No borrowed lines. Just a man who knows who he is, stands by it, and moves with quiet confidence. And in a world drowning in noise, that kind of masculinity is rare, grounded, and unforgettable. Number 9, he's the mirror women never asked for, but can't stop looking into. A Sigma male has a way of seeing people that goes far beyond the surface. He's not distracted by appearances or sweet words. He doesn't care about playing the nice guy to keep the peace, and he won't just say what someone wants to hear to be liked. He's an observer, listening, watching, picking up on the things people try to hide, even from themselves. And when it comes to women, that hits hard. Most men will either flatter them endlessly or avoid anything too real just to keep things smooth. But not him. He won't lie to protect someone's ego, and he won't stay silent when the truth matters. He'll call it like it is, respectfully but honestly, and sometimes he doesn't even need to speak. His energy alone reflects reality back to the person in front of him. That's why women often feel both drawn to him and slightly unsettled. Because with him, there's no pretending. If she's acting like she's fine but carrying a storm inside, he sees it. If she's used to getting attention for her looks but hiding her deeper self, he notices. And here's the key: he doesn't call it out to shame her. He simply sees her. And that kind of being seen is both terrifying and magnetic. He's not trying to change her. He's not trying to fix her. But his presence, his honesty, his refusal to play along with what's fake, it forces her to face herself. And once a woman experiences that kind of reflection, it's nearly impossible to forget. Because maybe for the very first time, someone didn't chase her, didn't flatter her, didn't twist himself into knots trying to impress. He simply stood there, steady, like a mirror reflecting her back to herself. And even if it shakes her, even if she isn't ready to face it, she won't forget him, because he didn't sell her a fantasy, didn't feed her illusions. He gave her something far more powerful, the truth. And deep down, that's what we all crave, even when we don't have the courage to ask for it. Number 10. He creates a space where women feel safe to drop the act. There's something different about the air around a Sigma male. He's not there to judge, not there to impress, not waiting to be entertained. He's not holding out some invisible checklist for how people should act around him. He's simply present, calm, grounded, entirely at ease with who he is, and that steadiness changes everything. When a woman finds herself in his orbit, the pressure to perform starts to melt away. She doesn't feel like she has to be charming every second, perfectly composed, or endlessly agreeable. She can stutter halfway through a sentence. She can admit she doesn't know something. She can stop smiling if she doesn't feel like smiling. And the best part? He doesn't flinch. He doesn't make it awkward. He just holds the space like it's the most natural thing in the world. Because he's so deeply rooted in who he is, she doesn't feel like she has to be flawless. Slowly, she starts to exhale, to drop her guard, to let little pieces of her true self slip through. An unfiltered opinion, an unpolished emotion, maybe even a silly side she usually hides. And instead of pulling back, he leans in, not necessarily with his body, but with his focus, his quiet acceptance. That's rare. Most people don't even realize how much they're performing until they meet someone who makes them stop. He doesn't demand authenticity. He simply invites it by living authentically himself. And here's the beautiful part. When a woman finally feels safe enough to be awkward, messy, or brutally honest, and he still meets her with calm presence, she doesn't feel exposed. She feels free. She feels seen, maybe for the first time in years. With a Sigma male, the stage lights turn off, the mask comes off, and what's left is something real. And in a world where everyone feels like they're under constant performance pressure, that kind of space feels like oxygen. Number 11. He doesn't get drunk on flattery or seduction. A Sigma male isn't the guy you can bait with sweet words, trap with charm, or distract with carefully packaged seduction. He sees through that quickly and clearly. That doesn't mean he doesn't enjoy beauty or affection. He does. He simply doesn't get hooked by it. Because here's the thing. Most men, the moment a beautiful woman gives them attention, forget themselves. They drop their standards, their priorities, sometimes even their dignity, just to keep her interested. But not him. The Sigma male stays centered. He doesn't start performing tricks just because someone batted their eyelashes. He doesn't lose his sense of self. He knows the difference between a genuine connection and temporary validation. He's not starving for attention, so he doesn't devour whatever is offered. You can flirt with him, praise him, tempt him, but if there's nothing real behind it, he's gone. Not rudely, not dramatically, he simply won't invest his time where there's no depth. And women notice that immediately. It flips the usual dynamic on its head. Suddenly, the kind of attention they used to get so easily isn't enough. If they want to hold his interest, they can't just toss out surface-level charm. They have to bring something more: honesty, curiosity, realness, vulnerability. Because with a Sigma, there are no shortcuts, no free passes. It's either authentic or it doesn't last. And that's what makes him powerful. Not just because he keeps his standards high, but because he refuses to lower them for anyone playing games. He doesn't chase compliments. He doesn't fall for seduction. He waits for the truth. And that's why his presence can't be faked. That's why his attention can't be bought. Number 12. He shatters the unspoken fantasy of control. Most women are used to being in emotional control without even realizing it. They know how to steer the conversation, how to nudge the energy, how to keep men orbiting around their attention like planets around the sun. But with him, the script flips. Not in a cruel way, but in a way that keeps most women feeling safe, as if they're the ones holding the reins. With most men, that illusion works. A flirty smile, a perfectly timed text, even a few hours of silence. That's usually all it takes to pull the strings and bring him running back. But then she meets the Sigma, and suddenly all her usual moves stop working. He doesn't chase when she pulls away. He doesn't panic when she goes silent. He doesn't lean forward just because she leans back. He stays calm. He stays centered. And most importantly, he stays completely unavailable for emotional manipulation. Not because he's playing some clever reverse psychology trick, but because he simply refuses to move unless it feels real. That kind of unshakable stillness breaks every rule she thought she knew about control. When she tests him, he doesn't take the bait. When she pushes buttons, she finds there are no buttons to push. And the moment she realizes she can't pull him into the usual emotional games, one of two things happens. She either drops the act and shows up as her true self, or she leaves entirely. And that is why he is so disarming. He's not avoiding the game to be difficult. He's rejecting it because to him, the game is meaningless. He doesn't need leverage. He doesn't need drama. He needs truth, peace, and a connection that isn't fueled by ego, pride, or control. And that forces a level of raw honesty most women rarely have to give so soon. Ironically, that honesty becomes addictive because for the first time, they're not the ones running the show. They're being seen exactly as they are, with no mask, no performance, and no escape into manipulation. And that's why he's unforgettable. Because he can't be controlled, and he doesn't want to control. He simply stands in his own presence, unshaken. When you truly know who you are, you stop trying to prove it. That is the quiet strength of the Sigma male. He doesn't compete. He doesn't beg for attention. He is the space everyone else is trying to earn. And in a world overflowing with noise, clout chasing, and shallow performance, that kind of calm, grounded presence is rare and magnetic. Women don't gravitate towards Sigma males because they're flashy or trendy. They stay because they feel something real, something that doesn't need translation, persuasion, or constant reassurance. A Sigma doesn't pitch himself like a product. He just lives in alignment with what he values. And that authenticity is far more powerful than any line, charm, or clever move ever could be. He's not here to fix brokenness. He's not here to perform for applause. He stands exactly where he is, untouched by approval, unmoved by control. That is what makes him powerful. That is what makes him rare. And if you are a Sigma male or becoming one, let this sink in. There is nothing wrong with being misunderstood. There is no weakness in walking alone for a season. Your clarity will confuse some. Your peace will unsettle those addicted to chaos. And your silence? It will speak louder than 1,000 clever arguments. But never fold. Never shrink. Never trade depth for cheap popularity. Women with endless options don't choose the Sigma for his games. They stay for the calm he radiates, the truth he refuses to compromise, and the way he protects his energy like it's sacred. His presence feels like home, not because he tries to charm everyone, but because he builds his world on integrity. You are not here to impress the world. You are here to become the kind of man the world cannot ignore. So keep becoming, keep building, keep sharpening yourself until you are unshakable. If this resonates with you, hit that like button, subscribe to Epic Persona, and drop a comment below. Tell me, what's one area of your life you're building quietly, just for you? Because the Sigma's path isn't about applause. It's about transformation. Stay focused. Stay unbreakable. Stay Sigma. This is Epic Persona.